Let's talk about cards while I paint this quick watercolor. And when I say cards, I don't mean just any cards. I mean the cards with a K. And that is, I think, a relatively unknown game. I don't think it ever became very known. And it's free. It's a free game on Steam, and it is World War II themed card game that I really enjoy, and it is my card game of choice if I want to play some card games. Okay, so what do I like about cards mainly? I like the mechanical metaphors that are in the game. For example, there are various types of units or cards. I think they're called units. Anyway, the things you put on the table. And the types, some of the types are infantry, um, tanks, artillery, bombers, and those all act differently. So not only do they have different unique stats, but they also um, interact in the game in unique ways. And I think that's really cool. The infantry has to advance, they have to stay a turn in your backline, and then the next turn they can move forward, and then in the next turn they can attack the opponent backline or HQ. So there's a slowness to infantry. But tanks can advance to the front line and then attack because they are faster. And that is how battles actually worked in history. And that is really cool that they cared about that. I really appreciate what the designers did there with that initial basic design. I like the core of that game. And there's all kinds of stuff, right? The artillery attacks the back line from your own back line, so they can skip the front line. The airplanes can do that too, but then the airplanes are a bit different because there are two kinds. There are the fighters and the bombers. And the bombers can bomb, the fighters can fight, everything that you would expect. It kind of works within the metaphor of the game. So that's really nice. And thinking about cards, I'd say that I like turn-based games in general way better than I like non-turn-based games. Or I at least I need time to think. So real time with pause works pretty well for me too. Um, and yeah, you can always rope in those kinds of games, right? Like in a Hearthstone, back in a Hearthstone, you had the rope. You could get roped by taking too long to end your turn, and then the the timer ends, and maybe you didn't make all your plays. And sometimes that happens to me in cards. It's pretty rare, um, but I like taking my time. That's just kind of person and player that I am. Um, so yeah, this is a strange sky. the blue that I'm doing. But anyway, speaking of Hearthstone, the first card game that I remember playing, that was just not just playing cards, um, was Pokemon TCG, and I played that a lot, and I talked about that on my video about Pokemon. Um, I might as well go all in on this blue. Let's see what happens. And I played some Magic the Gathering after that, but I really can't speak to that because I only played a tiny bit. I only had a single deck. I really didn't buy any packs, so didn't get into Magic the Gathering. Um, I let's see here. When I was playing Pokemon, I liked there was something magical kind of about playing Pokemon, and I think it was the engine of card games, and it was kind of like a collective story building where you'd add a little bit to the story by playing your cards, and then your opponent would add a little bit to the story that you were making together. Of course, it wasn't an actual story, it wasn't a regular story, but maybe it's just also the kind of games that I like where um, I like making stories, and the card games kind of offer that to me a little bit. It's just coming up with this story together. And yeah, it was just cool to see, your decision making influencing their decision making, and then um, theirs influencing yours. Even though it was competitive, it was kind of like cooperative in some way, right? And then I played Hearthstone, like I was talking a bit before, and I played almost exclusively Arena. I did not play the Constructed very much at all. When I did, I played Face Hunter just to end the games as fast as possible. I'm not sure if I did not like playing, and I was just doing it for the rewards, just to complete the missions and that kind of stuff. Um, but I was a Face Hunter player, unfortunately. Um, or I played Arena. Like I only played a little bit of Face Hunter, and then I on for the long haul I would just play Arena only, and I just tried to get as many wins as I could, right? Um, and I just liked seeing the different decks and stuff. Um, and then of course there was Slay the Spire, which was all about that. It was fun because they made the part that I liked about Hearthstone into a full game. But even then, I wasn't a super Slay the Spire player. Like I played up to the final boss. I'm not even sure that I defeated the final boss in Slay the Spire, and I definitely did not do any kind of ascension stuff where you're increasing the difficulty and stuff like that. I did not get to that point. And um yeah, Cards is still a game that I play, and they're still doing updates, and I think those updates are pretty good. They introduce new mechanics which are interesting and strange, they don't always work. Sometimes they're OP, especially in the draft mode, which is the only one that I play. But it's fun. It's still fun to even if I lose. And what I like to do is just to have value decks and try to win long term because I generally don't want to rush to win. I want to try to beat my opponent long term, play more control focused. But I don't care for counting cards and that kind of thing that people sometimes do. I don't know. Like I have no idea. I don't really look at my deck much. I was like, okay, I drafted this deck. It's probably pretty good, and I'll just trust the. Well, what did Yugi say? Like trust the heart of the card, something like that. And that's how I roll. And this was the watercolor with those deep blues there, and that's out of focus, so I can't zoom in too much. But anyway, maybe you can see that those are the other ones. Okay. All right. This is gonna be it for this one. Thank you and goodbye. Oh, nice zoom there. All right.